The film starts with text, telling us that what we're about to see is based upon true events. It doesn't really say what is true, it loosely describes, but if I tell you it will ruin the end. I would suggest if you're going to watch it, fast forward that part without reading it. It was released in 2009, but has the look and feel of an 80s flick. I'm talking from the way the titles start, to the way the people are dressed and the music. I was really impressed with how the director did this. I'm a big 80s horror fan. I'd much rather see movies created to look like movies from that time than to see remakes of 80s movies that are set in present time. The last 25 to 30 minutes of the movie went to more of a 70s feel. It's hard to explain without giving away the plot. If you see it, you will know what I mean. Let's talk about the movie. Samantha Hughes pays for the first month of a new apartment. It's not something she can really afford, but her roommate in her old apartment has sex often with her boyfriend. On top of that, she's also a slob. One day, she sees an ad for a babysitting job. She calls a number and a Mr. Ullman calls her back and arranges to meet her so they can talk about it. He never shows up. The next day, Samantha's roommate tells her that Ullman called and wants her to call him back. He tells her that he's very sorry and asks if she'd be willing to babysit that night for $100. Of course she says yes, because she needs to help pay for the new apartment. That night, her friend drives her to the house, which is way out in the middle of nowhere, right past a creepy cemetery. It's a huge Victorian house. Megan tells Samantha she will stay with her, but when they get into the house, and she talks to Ullman, he says she must stay by herself. He also tells her that there is no child, that she will be watching his mother. Samantha seems to change her mind, but he bumps up the pay to $400. Samantha explains to Megan that she must leave and pick her up later that night. Megan is pissed. She believes that Samantha should not trust a guy who already claimed he had a kid to get her there. On the way home, Samantha pulls over to smoke and to release some anger. Not sure why she wouldn't have smoked while driving with the window down, or if too cold, just crack. Plus it was in the middle of nowhere and she pulls over by a cemetery. I find that part of the movie to be too unbelievable, and it's a bad decision by Megan. It's one of the better scenes, so I won't say what happens. All I will say is that Megan doesn't have a ride home. Before Ullman leaves, he tells Samantha that his mother is independent and that she might not even see her. He gives her money and says to call to order pizza. The phone number is on the fridge. She kind of explores the house a little, plays some pool, and orders a pizza. After a couple bites, she spits the pizza out. Just a bit later, she hears running water upstairs. She goes up to check to see who it is. Right as she gets to the door where she thinks it's coming from, she passes out. That's all I'm going to reveal. The movie gets really wicked from that point on. My final thoughts. I really enjoyed this one. I love the look of it. The 80s soundtrack was great. The pace is pretty slow, but it's a build-up to a hellish last 25 minutes. I know some people won't like it because it takes too long to get to the bang, but I think it worked. I mentioned in the review about the thing I didn't like. Besides that, there was one more thing. I wasn't crazy about the very end. I thought right before the last scene it was fine, but one more thing was added that I didn't think needed to be. Some may disagree with me on that. If you've seen the movie, post some comments below, let me know if you liked it or not. Until next time, stay scared.